Hi everyone, welcome to Know Northumberland, the show featuring events, organizations, and people making a difference in our community. I'm your host, MJ Slocco. Joining me a little bit later is going to be people from the Habitat Humanity Northumberland, of course, a great initiative here in the region. But first, please welcome Julie Aldis from the Northumberland Syrian Lifeline.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Julie.
It's a pleasure, my pleasure.
You're the chair of, it's a new group, you're the chair of the, it's called the Northumberland Syrian Lifeline.
Yes,
and I know there's been a huge, the entire country has been glued to the devastation, to the desperation of, the Syrian people who are trying to escape their war-torn country. And our Prime Minister, Minister Trudeau, has vowed that he's going to bring 25,000 here, but locally we're able to help a select group, aren't we?
Oh, tremendously, and I think a big part of that is the fact that the county of Northumberland is enormously supportive. I mean, their immigration portal is so important, and they're behind all of the groups, really extensively. They put on a diversity and immigration forum actually at the beginning of this week, and it was so helpful for so many of the groups, like ours, and so many of the church groups as well. It was really informative, as it's a complicated process, and to bring in refugees. Hopefully, it's going to get sped up a little bit, and will be a little bit easier with Trudeau's initiative.
Well, and as you mentioned, there are a couple groups actually who are in Northumberland who are working to bring the Syrian refugees here to help as well. Your group, though, you're focusing on one particular segment.
We're specifically gearing it to women because I'm bringing them into my house. It's more suited to for women and for women basically over 18, so they have to come in on their own papers. But I also thought they were a group that somehow got looked over, passed over, sort of forgotten about, because everyone's looking at the mother, father, traditional, 3 children to 5 children, I think there's a family of 12 that the county is sponsoring. And I just felt that, it was really crucial to be able to help that group and be a spokesperson, for them. And I thought of all of the women that I know who are either single or, have older daughters or widowed. And I thought, gosh, I think it's a really important group to help. And it'll be easier because they're coming into my household to all be women.
Right. But you're right, you make a very good point that is a segment that's being overlooked because people are so focused on the families.
Very much so.
Bring them over. And also too, it's a difficult area anyway for women, especially women who are single or well, say divorced. Sometimes it's difficult there, but or widowed as well.
And I think that when you look at the numbers and I've spent a huge amount of time online, the majority of the refugees, and these would be people who are officially listed as refugees, over 50% of them are women. And of that larger group, which are women, the largest group is between 18 and 55 years old. So that's where I'm aiming, particularly, we're all going to be working till we're whatever age. So, so I think even some of them, the older, what someone your age would consider probably an older person. We're all going to be working hard, and so I think it's, as I say, when you know that they're the majority, it's really, it's quite interesting. And the picture that we're using on our poster that came from a Huffington Post 3-minute documentary, I don't know whether you've had a chance to look at it or not. It was, there were 5 women that they interviewed from a Turkish refugee camp. They had been there for 3 years, and they're still there. But this little 3-minute documentary was about their resilience and what they've done within the refugee camp to survive and to make it, when they can, a slightly more positive experience. And interesting, of the 5 that they chose, 3 spoke English very well, and 2 didn't. But they're people like you and me. They're many of them who have gotten out are just everyday people who all of a sudden had their homes bombed and had no place to go.
And are trying to get to a better place, a better place for themselves and their families and everything. So the initiative itself, where did it come about?
I started when I had the concept probably at the end of August, beginning of September, and contacted a couple of people that I knew when I started to sort of read articles in the Globe and Mail, and so I contacted a few people and said, look, I'm really interested, what can I do? They all put me on to Lifeline Syria, which is the enormous group that's out of Ryerson University. And so I contacted them, and they said, we're only looking after the GTA. And literally in the letter, it was great. Start your own group. Here's how you do it. Here's every website and every link that you need to go to for citizenship and immigration. And there's also a wonderful training group that's called, I think, the Sponsorship Refugee Training Program, and they're fantastic. I mean, they help you put your settlement plans together and help you with the putting together your, how much money you need to raise and that kind of thing. So it's, I'm proud to be a Canadian, and people that are helping so strongly. I think it's really, really wonderful.
Well, it really is great that we're. I mean, we've been watching this kind of develop, especially over the last couple months, right? Yeah. And just knowing that we can do something to help here and to help bring some people here as well. Yeah. So, how many women are you hoping to bring over?
Well, it will depend on. If, we may get a number of single women. We may get, let's say, a mother who could be my age with a daughter that's somewhere in her 30s and perhaps with a 17 or 18-year-old daughter. So it would depend on the combination. My largest room on my third floor can easily house 4 to 5 women in 4 to 5 single beds. I mean, it's a big old Victorian house.
In Port Hope,
yes,
right? Yes,
in Port Hope. So I think ultimately probably anywhere between 6 to 8. But because each person, because they're over 18, will have to come on their own ticket. It'll be a while before we probably get all the rooms filled.
Well, you probably will have a list of people that you'll be able to pick from, of course.
And the blended visa office does put together lists, and the blended office also is hopefully the group that we'll be working with, because you also get government money, which is very, very important. And they prepare a list, and I'm not sure how often it comes out, but the one I saw was September 30th, which it had made up clearly by the old Harper government, and believe it or not, there wasn't a single Syrian on that list. There were 2 Iraqis and absolutely no Syrians, and that was the September 30th. So we're waiting for the next one to come out, and we create a profile of who, what we hope their abilities will be in terms of having some English, having some education, which is important, because any of the immigration, whether it's a refugee or just someone who's coming here from another country, language is always the biggest block and the biggest barrier. So if they have a little bit of English to start with, it's going to help.
Well, I mean, they're going to be surrounded by people who will help and care and everything as well. So it's not just yourself in the organization. There's other people.
And it was wonderful, because when I had the idea and I called the first couple of people, which were Don and Linda Seller. They have been enormously involved with Habitat for Humanity for many, many years. I think Linda's probably done, I don't know, more than a dozen builds between El Salvador and various Central and South American countries. Dawn, the same. A wonderful woman, Carolyn Thornton, who owns, she and her husband own a farm in Campbellcroft. She's a British immigrant, and I mean, basically we're all immigrants, unless you're Aboriginal or Inuit. We're all immigrants at some point, and so that's been our core group, and it just started blossoming from there. And we all made lists of people that we knew and sent them on. We compared them so we didn't have any overlap, and sent it out, and the response has just been wonderful. We're just thrilled. But we need a lot more.
Well, especially money-wise, right? Yes. You need funding as well. So how is that going?
That's going well. We established a trust account and decided to go to the Ganaraska Credit Union, because it's a community organization, and so that will also be the credit union when the women come here, we will get them to set up their own accounts so that they can, ultimately manage their own finances, so that's so the money is coming in. They can put it directly into the account by e-transfer, by email, and or mail a check or go into a branch.
So those are the three ways that people can donate. So any of us can go into the branch.
Or they can go, because there's a Coburg branch as well as a Port Hope branch of the Ganaraska Credit Union. So they can just go in there and say, I want to donate to the Northumberland Syrian Lifeline, and they will automatically put it in the account. But there's something that if people bank online, when you go online and go into your account, there's always a little box that says Interac e-transfer, and it can be done that way directly to info@northumberland.ca.
Making it easy so that you don't have to. So that's the way to do it now, right? Just so it's easy to do, and you just know that it's taken care of.
Absolutely.
What about government funding? Are you receiving any of that, or are you going to receive any of that?
Well, the process is such that we have to have a certain amount of funds, and then we make our application, and then we go to the blended office to see what they will give us to match the dollars that we have. So, but until we have enough funds to actually put our application in, and all of the groups are the same. You have to show a certain amount of financing, and they have scales of how much you need for an individual, how much you need for a family of 4, what you need for a family of 6, and of course it varies slightly depending whether you're the City of Toronto or Vancouver or Port Hope and Coburg, where things are the cost of living is slightly less than it is in the larger cities.
So besides being able to donate right to you, what about any other fundraising initiatives? Can people be looking towards events and stuff?
Oh, they will, absolutely. And we're working on those. As I mentioned, we hope to do some film things, definitely lots of food things.
Yes.
And definitely, that's big on the agenda. And we're looking at a couple of other things as well, but, until we sort of have them a little bit more organized. But we'll be putting them up on our website, and plus we're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, so we're on the I haven't quite figured out how to tweet yet, so
that'll come in time. You can link it up to Facebook and make it easy, but definitely people should check out the Facebook page. And also your website, which is northumberlandsyrianlifeline.ca. Go there. There's the open letter there which you have written about the entire story about how it started, what you're looking for, of course the 3 ways to donate as well, and basically keep your eye on that, because you'll be seeing more of you in the future. Of course.
And we're also looking for people to volunteer. Once we have the women here, we're going to need people to donate clothes. We're going to need people to drive these people somewhere, whether it's to their English classes that might possibly be in Peterborough. According to the Northumberland County, they're hoping to do an ESL here as well, but also for prayer. So Peterborough has an Islamic center and mosque, as does Belleville. And but apparently underneath the dollar store there's an Islamic prayer room as well. So I found that out on Monday, which is wonderful.
Oh, well,
that's right here.
Well, this is what being Canadian is all about, of course. Thank you so much for joining us. So of course,
thank you,
as
Jay,
Northumberland,
it's been great.
oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing initiative, and thank you so much for telling us more about it. And it's easy to donate. So go to northumberlandsyrianlifeline.ca and find out more, and keep your eye on the website, because there's going to be a lot of things that are coming up. We'll see you after the break.